Hi, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Amanda.
and we are serving up
All that jam.
All That Jam, quick hit. Jerry Joseph on his new LP.
We're with Jerry Joseph today. How you doing, Jerry?
I'm good.
Why don't we jump off with you got something new coming up?
I do. It's so hard to figure out what's new.
This is the one that you did it in New York City, in Brooklyn?
Yeah. So it's spent a lot of my life in New York. I'm a San Diego kid. Um, I think I first got to the city when I was 18 or there's a way that East Coast people come to the West for the first time and they see the Tetons or they see the Pacific and they never leave. And I was kind of the reverse of that. The first time I got to New York, I was like, "Oh fuck! You mean this has been happening without me?" But over all of those years, I never made a record in New York, and I don't know why. It's usually about producers and what. That's usually somebody else's decision. So I had met this guy Eric Gamble a few years back. Eric was sort of the hotshot guitar player, producer guy. I don't think I've never been super comfortable with the words Americana, but I know in Europe he's like the Americana go-to guy. And we talked about doing a record, and finally it sort of landed that we could do this. He assembled a band. Which I'm not sure if that's the first time I'd ever done that, where I just walked into a band of people that I'd never met. Cool guys. The one guy, Charlie's in the E Street Band, and the other guys are they're all kind of renowned, New York cats, and made this record. And then it's been about the craziest drama, personal shit show around my life the past while trying to get it out. Not my
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Not my personal life, but my work life.
Right.
It just went like
Right.
everything burned to the ground. So this is kind of a crawling out of the ashes moment. I don't know if it warrants the Phoenix tag, but it's Phoenix-ish.
Right. Now, had you road tested? Had any of these songs been played live, or did you go in the band, hand the music over to the musicians and say, let's knock this out?
Kind of, yeah. No, this was not. I've always tried. I'm still old enough to sort of believe in that idea that you drop the record and then you play the songs. I've been associated with jam bands long enough that most of my friends, they play those songs for 10 years. All right, we're ready to record now. But I don't know if I find those kind of bands to be super prolific, so I've still got enough of the songwriter person in me. But it was I don't know if you can see behind me. It was in my backyard with all my camping shit. I don't know if that's very clear. Anyways, I have a driveway. In the middle of COVID, I borrowed a vintage camper from my neighbors. A tow, one you would tow. And we ran power out to it, and I'm not a home studio guy by any stretch of the imagination, but we plugged, in a keyboard and a couple of things. And so that's where I was writing. Usually I go away. Almost always. I can't write at home. I have little kids, and Beautiful Madness was mostly written in South Africa, Mexico. I do this thing where I take guitars. I go to war zones and teach kids how to play guitar in like active war zones. So Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria border, and often I'll have these clusters of songs. So instead of going somewhere, I went out to my driveway, which the kids thought was so weird because I'm not really a man cave dad.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a sports ball dad. There's no room daddy goes to and like listens to, no.
Did the kids play sports, or are they too young for that yet?
Son's 13. He's just made football teams way over his pay grade.
Nice.
Which is now a whole new level of urban reality.
And a whole new level of expense, I'm sure, too.
But we're kind of connected. If you went we're in like, my kids are Waldorf, sort of hippie lefty life of mine. If you go a few blocks, it gets a lot more urban. I don't think that they charge those kids to play football. I think and I'm Ty, that's my oldest son. Judah has got on these teams, and he's going into 8th grade. These kids are also going into 8th grade, but they're 7 feet tall with beards. Where the fuck did you get this 8th grader?
Seriously, though, I used to teach middle school. That is so true.
My oldest played softball, and by the time she was in 8th grade, I was about $5,000 a year for travel softball.
Yeah. Right.
It was killing me because you had a new bat every year. We needed to get a new bat, and bats are $300 for kids who play travel softball.
And you can't offset it by selling T-shirts and Molly in the lot, right? So,
exactly.
Like, what's your dad doing? He's got chocolate mushrooms and softball tie-dyes. So we're funding.
Whole different lot scene. I don't know. I think there's a market out there that is untapped.
Totally untapped.
Sitting through those 8-hour softball days, you could use a mushroom, probably a chocolate.
Amen.
Whole new word for mushball or whatever the kids are playing these days. They're a lot more enlightened.
Fantastic. Sorry to disrail.
That's again. I'm thinking about what happens with jock mentality when you give them all mushroom chocolates before the game, and that whole like testosterone thing turns into like, I don't know if I need to throw the ball. How about I just give you a hug and we hang out?
Mushball. I mean, I think we've got something here.
Totally.
Actually,
that's crazy. So we had you out you were out in the camper. And we weren't road testing the song.
Oh, there I was in the camper. So instead of running out and doing the follow up to Beautiful Madness, I just for my head, is why I started writing these songs. I was never a big Bruce Springsteen guy. I'm a San Diego kid. Like I said, we never got it. And I got older. I remember I lived in New York for a long time. And I remember not too long ago, I was back to having something of a drug problem. I remember getting a bunch of coke and a bunch of dope and renting a car in Midtown and getting Darkness on the Edge of Town and driving around New Jersey by myself for about 8 hours. This was about 15 years ago. Trying to get it.
I love it.
Trying to understand as I'm sort of speedballing my way up and down the turnpike and listening to this record over and over and over. And I figured it out. I figured out what it is for me with Springsteen. It's half of it that I love and really love. And then there's this half.
Which half is that?
It's that more serious, dark. It's not the... Yeah, he's got this kind of shucks. There's a wonky
Glory Days.
What?
Right, like Glory Days.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a side that we always heard is really cheesy, and then there's this stuff that's he's just brilliant as whatever my other heroes, Nick Cave or Dylan or and somehow that ended up with me buying every damn Springsteen record. And my friend Casey Neal, really, who's great. If you ever remember his name, Casey Neal, he's got an amazing new record coming out. He was getting me into the later stuff, like The Rising and Magic and those records. And Demons and Dust. Is that the name of that record? I think it's called Demons and Dust. Diesel and Dust? Demons and...
Yeah, Demons and Dust.
So I got all these records.
Yeah.
I listen to that record and I go, I wonder what would happen. I had a personal rule about never, under any circumstance, under the threat of death, am I going to hang a goddamn harmonica around my neck and sing something. For any reason whatsoever. And I don't know why, but I was like, I'm listening to that record and I'm like, oh, maybe I should try that. So I ordered like all the different keys and I got the thingy that hang and I went out in my trailer and I wrote like the bulk of these songs like really quickly. It was just a weird tool to kind of get me out of my head. And, but I would directly line that to that Springsteen record. I mean, I was listening to it. I go, how hard can this be? And
was it the difficulty, or did you? I've always found it strange to see somebody stop. They stopped singing, like Dylan when he would play the harmonica and he'd start bobbing his head. It was always a little strange.
I've never been able to figure it out. What I do know is that there's a simplicity to it. You know, and if you listen to my new record, it's literally I'm going boom, 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 boom. You know, it's like there's no technique. I'm not just blowing.
It's not John Popper.
No. On so many levels.
Oh my.
If you are enjoying All That Jam, please like and subscribe to our social media channels at All That Jam Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or visit our website, allthatjampod.com. Make sure to sign up for our email list and tune in every week for new episodes.
Also, look for full interviews on our YouTube channel. And remember, stay beautiful, but don't stay underground too long.